So in this video, I'm going to show you how I'm going to turn this property in Kentucky into a cash flowing property generating $9,371 per month in revenue at about $4,700 a month in net cash flow. Hey guys, so my name is Preston. If you're new here, I own over 47 rental properties across multiple states, totaling about $12 million worth of value. And in that portfolio, I have 7 Airbnbs, and in the past 12 months, they've made over $350,000 in net cash flow. And in today's video, I'm going to try and do something that nobody else does when it comes to launching Airbnbs. And that's going to be showing you all the research, finding a profitable market, and then finding the right property within that market so that it can be a winner on Airbnb. And then I'm going to go and pick all the right furniture and all the amenities to make sure that we can hit those numbers. And it's funny when I mention Airbnbs or rental properties and being a landlord, surprisingly, I get a lot more negativity and hate from people, blaming me that I'm ruining the housing market or that my Airbnbs are going to be dead soon and I'm going to end up on the streets. So if that's you, you're entitled to your own opinion. But if you're someone who wants to get into real estate and you've considered all these other real estate models like fix and flip, BRRRR, etc., but you're not sure which one to choose, and you actually want to learn and trust all the data and the numbers rather than just listening to some random Karen, then stick around because I want to show you how literally one property is the difference between you right now and adding a good amount of extra income. I'm going to show you the exact process on how to find it, just like I do for my own properties. So this video is going to be separated into 3 key parts. Number 1, why did I choose this market? Number 2, why this market will generate said numbers? And number 3, why did I choose this specific property? So first off, let's go into why did I choose this market? So why Louisville, Kentucky in particular? And what we want to do is the following. Number 1, what the city means to the travel industry in the state. And number 2, why people want to travel there, who wants to travel there, and if there are any other highlights we should know about. So after doing some quick searching online to answer our questions here, we found the following answers. So number 1, Louisville is a key contributor to Kentucky, which had roughly 75.9 million travelers in 2022. We also have the Kentucky Derby Museum in Louisville, which had over 250,000 visitors in 2023. There's also other popular attractions and events in Louisville, like the Kentucky Derby, and also other landmarks like the Muhammad Ali Center that draws crowds every single year. And lastly, it looks like Louisville accounts for 25% of Kentucky's tourism revenue. Now, this is all a good starting point, indicating that Louisville can be a good market to go after when it comes to Airbnbs. However, we want to dig a little bit deeper and try to find the types of guests or even the tourists who book Airbnbs in that area. So with that in mind, I found the official tourist website of Louisville, and here's even more data. So the average visitor is about 42 years old, and a majority are couples, about 66.8% with partners or spouses. The average household income is over $90,000 per year, and the average stay is about 2.6 days, spending about $292 per day. And people are primarily traveling here for experiences, about 86.1%. So looking at these metrics, they're telling us a couple things. So number 1, our tourists are couples who are looking for an experience. And these people don't mind paying a little bit more to have a better stay while enjoying their vacation. So in conclusion, there's more than enough data and proof that this market, Louisville, Kentucky, is indeed a good market to go after. And we got our target demographic that has a lot of purchasing power. There's a lot of attractions and locations that we can build around our Airbnb. So on to step number 2 on why this market will generate said numbers that I said at the start. So let's dive into the Airbnb scene in Louisville and see what's up with the numbers. Now we're going to check out some stats from this tool called AirDNA for the year of 2023. So there we're going to look at stuff like how many Airbnbs are there, how often they're booked, how much they charge each night, and how much money they make in a year. We're also going to think about ways to make an Airbnb stand out, like adding awesome amenities, experiences, and also creating a special vibe, especially for couples looking for a cool experience. So we're going to try to figure out how some Airbnbs are making more money than others and getting more guests every single night. But first, let's look at the market as a whole. So now if you took a look at the numbers as a whole for this market, the annual revenue is roughly about $53,000 per year. The occupancy rate is 50%, the average daily rate is $292 a night, and the score for this market is a 97 out of 100, which is great. Now, these numbers look promising, but remember, this isn't enough data to really understand how our property is going to perform. So let's do a comparison to the property we found versus the market as a whole. So our property is doing 65% occupancy rate, and the overall market is 50%. Our property can generate $474 per night, and the overall market is $205 per night. And the most important number is the annual revenue. So our property can do $106,000 per year, but the market is actually doing $53,000 per year. Now, before I continue, I know you're probably thinking, how in the heck are you going to charge double the revenue versus what the market is charging? Now, this is where the real fun and all the data analysis begins, because most people will look at these numbers and immediately abandon this market and research another one. But if you look a little bit deeper and think logically, here's how you're going to approach this. So here's what we learned, and here's what we're going to try to do. So first, we're going to understand that these numbers are just averages, including both the top and also the not so top Airbnbs. Secondly, make our Airbnb stand out with unique amenities, experiences, and especially for couples. And we can get inspiration by looking at what the other top performing Airbnbs are offering. We're also going to aim to do better than the average by being unique and awesome. Also, we're going to check out how some Airbnbs are nailing it with higher occupancy rates and also daily rates. And then we're going to use what we know about the market and what people want to beat the average numbers. So with that being said, let's analyze some of the top performing Airbnbs in this market that we're competing with. So I found some of the top performing markets in the segment that we're going after. So let's think about what's so different about them that they're able to charge double what the average Louisville Airbnb host is charging. So here are a couple of things I'm noticing. Number 1 is a next level hospitality. So think quick check-ins, kitchens, spotless rooms, super fast responses. These hosts are on it and making sure your stay is smooth from start to finish. Number 2 is the unique Kentucky vibe. And if you start looking through these pictures, they all have a cohesive design. They have that Kentucky charm, and it's not just some place to sleep, but it's a dive into the local culture. And number 3 is the smart marketing. So these hosts aren't just posting their listings, they're selling an experience. So they're using social media, their own sites, and killer photos to draw you in. So it's not just about being an Airbnb, it's about standing out. They're also using catchy titles and descriptions that really grab your attention, and they highlight what's unique about them, like a prime spot in Nulu or a deep dive into the bourbon culture. Another great thing they're doing is the decor and the amenities that really pop. So we're talking bourbon barrel tables plus seating, those little extras like hot tubs or game rooms, and it's those things that really makes the guests willing to pay more. And also, this is one of the most important things are the professional photos. So they have high quality photos that make you want to jump into the picture, and these hosts know that great visuals sell the stay. Now, the bottom line is winning Airbnbs in Louisville aren't just playing the game, they're changing it. They make their place a part of the Kentucky story, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to try to keep it simple and make it stand out. So now that we know how winter Airbnbs can perform, the next step is to find a property listed for rent that ideally has some of the perks that the winter Airbnbs have. And then we're going to figure out what amenities to add and how to stand out better than the winter Airbnbs. So the third is, why did I choose a specific property? Now, I teased this at the start, but this is a property that I found that could be a good candidate. So you want to go on any sites where people list their properties for rent, like Zillow.com for rent and Facebook Marketplace. Now, I selected this particular property because it's nicely updated and in a great location that we can work with. Also, the recent renovations across the property ensure it's going to be a hassle-free experience. Also, make sure things won't fall apart in the coming years. Now, the last step here is to figure out which amenities to add and how to stand out better than the winter Airbnbs. So the amenities I'm thinking for this property will be focused on the backyard. So we're going to try to utilize the space to add a luxurious hot tub, a welcoming fire pit, some street lights, or even a dedicated barbecue area. So what we're going to try to do is transform this regular looking house into a place of relaxation and entertainment, because it looks like the winter Airbnbs are prioritizing their backyards. So that's where I'm going to look to shine and stand out even more. So personally, I like to look at sites like Wayfair, Target, Poly, and Bark to get my furniture. And if you don't have a design bone in your body like me, you can use resources like Pinterest, Interior AI, or I've even paid someone on Fiverr to help me create a mood board and also find amenities and also furniture that I need to order for like $100. So now let's look at the actual expenses and how it would look like if I were to set up this property through a sublease contract. So first, let's look at the startup cost. So the first month's rent is about $3,100 per month. I'm also adding an additional $10,000 if you want to add a hot tub. So our total initial investment for this property, because it's a little bit bigger, is going to be $26,150. So now we're going to plug in the income and also all the expenses. So the average nightly rate is about $474 per night at a 65% occupancy rate. And this is based on this comparable property that I was able to find. Now we're going to plug in all our expenses like our monthly rent, insurance, utilities, also other expenses like paying our virtual assistant to manage everything. So that way we only have to spend about 30 minutes per week to manage this. So after all expenses have been paid, our total cash flow number would be $4,700 per month. So another number that I like to look at is a cash on cash return number. So if you don't know what cash on cash return means, it's the amount of money that you're getting back for the amount of money that you're putting in. So in this case, we're getting about $56,000 per year and we invested $26,000. So that's an insane 216% cash on cash return. And to put that into perspective, I like to get anywhere from the 8 to 10% cash on cash return for my long-term rentals. So as you can see, this model completely blows other real estate models out of the water. And even if that property doesn't hit the cash flow that I'm predicting, now this is based on conservative numbers, but I'm confident that this will do no less than $2,000 per month in cash flow in a worst case scenario. So in closing, of course, there's going to be a lot more when it comes to setting up properties. Like how do you actually set up a property, or do you need to buy it, use a sublease contract? And if you use a sublease contract, then is the landlord going to allow you to do that? Or you might have questions like, do you need to hire contractors to set up the furniture, or do you need to do this all yourself? And is there a possible way to automate this entire thing so I don't end up creating a second full-time job? And if you have any of these questions, then I actually have a free live training that I'm going to host that goes over exactly that. And the main goal we're trying to accomplish in the free training is how to set up a property that you don't even have to own, completely remote, so it doesn't even matter where you live. So if you play your cards right, attend the training, and apply all the info, it'll be more than enough to set up a profitable Airbnb property. So if you're interested, you can feel free to click the link in the description and register. It's going to be completely free. There's literally no catch. You can come in, take all the info, apply it to your situation, and go from there. So we went over finding a profitable market and my research process on how I came up with that market. And then we analyzed the Airbnbs in that area, and we also found a property that can match the winning Airbnbs. And then lastly, coming up with the key aspects in terms of what furniture and amenities I'd buy to stand out even further and also hit our predicted revenue and cash flow numbers. And if you found this video helpful, then please let me know in the comments, as I'm thinking about making a series about this. All right, see you in the next video.